So, I played Wanted Dead, and it's a game I struggle to talk about. Everything I say about it feels contradictory. The game feels both unique and generic, weird and bland, and fun and boring all at the same time. Despite this, I'll try to break down the game as best as I can. If you don't know, Wanted Dead is a hack and slash game with shooter elements. Wanted Dead takes place in an alternate present where cybernetics are common and corporations control the world. Typical cyberpunk stuff. In the game, you play as Hannah Stone, a former war criminal who now leads an elite police squad and other war criminals as part of a get out of prison type deal. Some kind of suicide squad, if you will. I'll get more into the story later, but first I want to talk about the core gameplay. The main issue with this game is the lack of depth with the core gameplay. The game is decently fun in short bursts and pretty challenging at times, but it quickly gets stale when you play it for too long. The gameplay consists of fighting hordes of enemies across a linear and repetitive level. You use a mixture of shooting and slashing to defeat your foes. Both the shooting and sword mechanics are good but basic. In typical hack and slash fashion, some enemy melee attacks can be parried while others need to be countered. Enemies are staggered before you perform a finishing move on them. A big issue with the sword mechanics is that there's only 3 different combos. The game has a skill tree, and yet none of the 3 sections on it unlock more sword combos. This leads sword gameplay to consist of parrying attacks and spamming the same combo, which can still be a little bit of fun because of the timing required for the parries and the extreme gore and cool finishing moves, but it's lacking depth and gets boring when you play it for more than like 15 minutes at a time. The shooting mechanics are also lacking. You have 2 weapon slots, one of which always has your rifle, the other can be filled with a weapon you find on the map. You also have a pistol, but it's just used for melee combos. A good amount of weapon pickups are worse than your starting rifle, and I really wish there would have been a loadout system with multiple guns. Your rifle can be customized with upgrades, but aside from changing the stats and the appearance, they don't make a noticeable difference. There's a second rifle that can be unlocked through a shooting challenge, but it can't be upgraded, and seems generally worse than your normal gun. It's one of those games where customizing a weapon has the numbers change, but there isn't really a noticeable difference as to what those numbers actually do. The story of this game is executed incredibly poorly and ends abruptly. The main cast of characters is fun, especially the gunsmith, but they aren't around enough. I almost wish this was just a visual novel with these characters. The exception to the characters being good is the main character. The main character, Hannah Stone, is very underwritten, but the worst part about her is her voice acting. Most of the voice acting in this game is good, but Hannah Stone has maybe the worst voice acting in any game I've ever played.
They used to pay you until Dower went bankrupt.
Look, I ain't got all day. Here's what's going to happen next. My boys will get down here and start tearing your fucking carcass apart. Now make sure you're with us until they're through. You got that?
I looked on IMDb, and this is her only credit, so I have no idea who even voiced this character. I have a weird theory as to why her voice acting is so bad, but to explain it, first I need to talk about the minigames. Yes, this game has minigames. The core gameplay is incredibly basic and could have used more polish, but there's minigames. There are 5 of them. One is simple target shooting. Not much to explain here, it's a basic shooting range. The next is a crane game. It's also very basic. It's the annoyance of a real-life crane game in a video game form where you don't even get a bootleg Pokemon plush to put on your display once you win. After that, there's a ramen eating minigame, which is a rhythm game for some reason. The songs available are generic electronic sounding tracks, and it's really hard for some reason. It completely kicked my ass. Space Runaway is a decently fun retro style side-scrolling, space shooter. Last but strangest of all is the karaoke minigame. You may be wondering, what could be so strange about a karaoke minigame? Well, the game itself isn't weird, but rather the song selection. Despite having multiple original songs and several cover songs made for the soundtrack, the only song available in the karaoke game is 99 Luftballons, which is a good song, but why go through the trouble of making a bunch of songs for a game that you can only hear in the hub world and not putting them in either of the 2 rhythm games? Now, here's my theory why Hannah's voice actress is so bad. The version of 99 Luftballons is the German version, and a voice actress is singing it. Did they get a German woman who has never voice acted before to voice the main character because they wanted a scene in the game where she sings 99 Luftballons? That doesn't explain why the gunsmith, who's also singing in German, is actually a good voice actress, but that's the best theory I got. Aside from them intentionally having her do a bad job voice acting to have have like a Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme thing, where it's an action hero with an accent who can't act. I mean, I only have theories. Anyway, this game is very mediocre despite all its effort and weird uniqueness. I don't understand the thought process of making this game. It's like no department working on it had any communication with the others. I didn't even mention that one of the original songs has a music video that follows a character who is only in the first cutscene of the game for about 15 seconds. It's a shame because with a higher budget and more focus, I think this could have been a great game. The character setting and basic gameplay are all there. It's just nothing gels the way it should. I would not recommend it Wanted Dead. It's definitely not worth $60, but if you see it on a steep discount or it ends up on Game Pass, maybe check it out. This game reminds me a bit of that Werewolf the Apocalypse game I reviewed a while back, because it just seems like a very basic Xbox 360 era game that's just like okay. That game's actually technically better than this one because it's more complete as a game, but this game is more unique with more going on. Anyway, what's your favorite Cyberpunk media? Let me know in the comments below and be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Bye bye!